Welcome to Benjamin's Dream and the Dreamers Podcast. Okay, listeners, this is podcast number 5, and we're going to call up each team, and we're going to go over fantasy football this week. Caller number 1, Mike Irvin.
What's up?
Hey, Mike, what's up?
Not too much. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good. So, how do you like your matchup this week? I mean, what do you think your players are going to do compared to last week? Did you win?
I did not. I lost to DJ by 11.
That's not really. That's probably just based off like switching a bench player in or something.
Yeah, I should have played. Apparently, I should have played Isaiah Crowell, who had like 23 points out of nowhere, but that was about my only player I could have switched differently. But
Right.
DJ's pretty good, so I mean I'm not too downtrodden yet.
I got you. Are we in the same division?
I don't think so. Let me look right now. We are not now.
I got you. Oh, I wanted Jared Cook. You got Jared Cook off of me. Well, not off of me, but I tried to claim him and I didn't get him.
Yeah, well you got Chris Thompson. I tried to claim him too.
Yeah, I drafted him, but then like I can't remember. I didn't like my quarterback matchup with. I had Jimmy Garoppolo versus the Vikings, and I was like, well, I don't want that. And then I switched him for Andy Dalton, which Andy Dalton played fine, but I still lost. But then I picked him back up because he'll always break a big touchdown. He'll get a touchdown, which is great, but he doesn't get the numbers of touches, which is kind of the hard part.
I was hesitant about drafting him at all because I think I had him last year and maybe the year before. But with Peterson there, I'm like, Peterson's going to eat like 25 touches a game. So
Right, yeah.
Happen, in 3 or 4 big plays.
The reason I drafted him because, like, at the time, Adrian Peterson I don't think was on the team. And then their starting running back, the guy they drafted, Geis, tore his ACL or MCL. And then their other 2 running backs, P-Ride and I should know the other guy's name, but I can't think of it. They were injured for some reason also.
Yeah. Robert Kelly's not very good. He's kind of like Thompson, but he's not fast at all. He just, he'll get, third down carries, 3rd and 2 and stuff. But
No, I got you.
Yeah.
How'd the Rams defense do for you last week?
I actually didn't. I don't think I played the Rams, which is really dumb. Let me look back. I think I swapped out for the Detroit. Detroit still got me 9 points. The Rams still got me 15, though. Yeah. I thought Oakland was going to be better on offense than they were. I should have kept the Rams in, though.
No, I got you. I unfortunately panicked week 1, and I was like, well, I don't like my defense, which was the Carolina Panthers, which I should have kept them because I was like, oh, Zeke's going to run all over them, get multiple yards, something will happen. It's like, oh, I'll play the Saints versus Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he'll just throw a bunch of picks and give me some points. And he put up 48 points and 400 yards. They had me -9.
-9.
Yeah, -9. They didn't do anything.
Wait, you played them last week?
I played this. So I had Carolina, and I was like, well, I'll just switch them. I'll pick up the Saints and switched for Carolina. And then it just didn't pan out at all.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I panicked with the Rams. I'm probably going to ride them for most of the time from now on.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. But, yeah, the waiver stuff I was pretty happy with this week with getting that guy, that tight end.
Jared Cook. Yeah. It was weird because, he was on Oakland, 2 years ago, and then he went to the Packers last year, and now he's back on Oakland.
I forgot he went to the Packers last year. You're right.
Or maybe it might have been, unfortunately, 2 years ago because I think Aaron Rodgers was in the playoffs that year, and last year they didn't make it. But he might have still been on the team or something.
The only other one they had, Ricky. They had some, Ricky Rodgers guy who was decent. And they had that state tight end who always got in trouble, and then I think they had to sign that guy. They got him. I don't know if they traded for him or what. But then, I guess he's back. Yeah, I forgot he went to Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. Who was your most disappointing player of week 1?
Most disappointing player week 1. Let me look back again. Probably someone I dropped, but let's see here. Probably Greg Olsen because I always think he's going to be good, but I mean he's old and he always gets hurt, and he broke his foot in week 1. He only got me 3 points. Probably at end.
Did Golden Tate do anything for you?
He got 13 points, 13.9. He had 79 yards and a touchdown.
Okay, never mind then.
He doesn't score a lot.
Right, yeah. I watched limited amounts of that game Monday night, and Detroit wasn't doing anything, and I was like, oh, this is weird. So I thought maybe that was but yeah.
Yeah, that was about it. Everyone else, running backs did pretty good. Cam Newton did good. I mean, Cousins did even better.
How'd David Johnson do? Did he do okay?
Who's that?
He would have probably been your first round pick, David Johnson for the Arizona Cardinals.
12.7. He actually had a pretty bad game, but that's not terrible.
That's not terrible score wise, but like I know what you're saying.
Hopefully, I mean he's questionable, but I mean he's only missed like one or two couple games in his career when he was like severely injured, so I'm sure he'll play.
I got you.
Yeah, Elf Gordon looks good. I think he's a good guy to have.
So I drafted Joe Mixon for
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals because
Yeah.
I heard like someone reporting on them. I can't remember exactly who that he was going to be used similar to like how the Steelers use Le'Veon Bell in terms of just in the passing game and a lot of touches.
Yeah.
But so he did. I would consider he did well. I think he had me like 20 points week 1, which is really good for our league since it's not PPR. But I think I hate Thursday night games, but I'm going to play him versus the Ravens tonight. Do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea?
I would play him. Yeah.
I think I didn't start Andy Dalton, so I still have Andy Dalton, but I'm going to play Jimmy Garoppolo because he's playing Detroit, and I'm hoping they still don't know what they're doing defensively.
Both decisions sound good to me. Yeah, I wouldn't play Dalton tonight, but I would play Mixon. Yeah, Mixon surprised me. He played really well.
Yeah. Oh, my disappointment in week 1 was Travis Kelce. He had me 0.6 or something.
Wow. 6 yards. Yeah, that's pretty bad. They won the game, right?
Oh, they scored a lot of points, but he had 1 reception for 6 yards.
Yeah.
Do you think
how much did? I didn't watch that game at all. Did that quarterback do all right, or was
he played really well? I mean, I don't know if like his accuracy was necessarily good. Like if he was only had like 10 incompletions, but like he had like 3 touchdowns, like I think 300 plus yards. He did very well.
Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully that'd be a player I'd like to maybe try to trade for. Drew has him, but I doubt he'll get rid of him.
Yeah, kind of sounds like Deshaun Watson last year, just a lot better than people thought he was going to be.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and then I'll just ask a quick question. I'll ask 2 quick questions. What week do you think Bell's coming back? And do you think the Browns game is what we're going to be, or just more of a fluke?
I think it's more of a fluke in 2 ways. I don't think our defense played as well as they're capable of at the end of the game, because I think they played overall the first half pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
B, I honestly think Cleveland is a much better team this year. I think they're a totally different team. I think they're probably going to win, if I'd put money, 5 games.
I guess so, yeah.
I think they're going to win 5 games compared to 0 is a big turnaround. So I think they're a lot better team now. But I think our effort was below what it probably will be the rest of the year. Like Brown didn't look very well. Ben didn't look well. Thankfully, Connor looked awesome. I have him in my other fantasy league, and he did amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm happy with Connor, how he's playing.
Right.
Bell back, man. Honestly, I don't think he's going to wait until week 9 or 10 or whatever, the longest he can wait. But I mean, I think the longer he stays out, the harder it is for him to come back at a soon, like at a good time period, like first 2 or 3 weeks. So I think it's going to be after this week 4, after this month.
Right.
What about you?
So the Steelers, so based off of the reports after the game, like today and maybe yesterday when they came out, that Ben might have hurt his elbow. Because him and Brown did look much different and like a bunch of the passes, but I don't know when that was determining like the things because like one time Brown ran like a fade and Ben threw it into the back of the defender's head. Yeah. And then another time he threw a deep ball and it was like not anywhere close to Antonio. I mean, it was close, but like it was like the defender just ran a different direction and caught it for an interception, I think. And I was just like, this is really weird. And then, but I think I don't know. And like it's weird because TJ had 4 sacks, which is huge. But like I didn't even notice it live. Like I wasn't even thinking about it.
I thought he had like 1. Now that you say that, I had no idea that he had 4.
Yeah, like because it came out like he won defensive. He had 1 block. He blocked the punt, and then he had like 11 tackles and 4 sacks. And I'm like, how did this happen? Like, when did this? What game are you talking about? You know what I mean? So like,
yeah, I mean, like it was such a weird game. Like overall, they don't do this a lot. Like where they're ahead and that happens. Like overall, the defense looked pretty good for like 2 3/4 of a quarter. Like better than I thought. So I think it was more of an aberration than the norm. But
yeah. So who do you play this week?
I play Travis.
Travis might be out of the country. I don't know. I think he misspelled something. No, he did not. It was an accident. It was more like the autocorrect BS. I think it meant to say Indiana, but it came out as India. And I was like, oh, okay. But
yeah, he's got Ben. I just saw reading on ESPN app before you called that Ben at home has more points than any other quarterback over the last like 5 years at home.
Right.
Drew Brees has the most points total at home games, but Ben averages the most or something weird like that.
No, I gotcha. Which I think that might have been over. I don't know. It doesn't seem right at times because if you count like
Oh,
the Jacksonville Jaguars regular season game, he played awful. But I know that's just one game out of many.
yeah. But he's got Saquon, Howard for the Bears. He's got Devontae Adams and Adam Thielen, two good receivers. Although I think I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play. I don't know why they'd play him. Just rest him for a week.
I hope he doesn't play. I'm playing your brother.
Yeah, I hope he does. I don't think he will. If I were them, I wouldn't play him. I mean, what's the harm of? I mean, it's a division game. They already had one good division game that they should have lost and did win. But
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I like this is one of the weird weeks where I think my projected total is way less than what it will be. Usually, I think they over project your totals, but I think Johnson and Gordon for me are both going to be really good this week, and I think Cook's going to be way better than they predict him to be.
Mm-hmm.
Especially against Denver. Denver has great defense, but I mean that's when tight ends kind of like leak through. That's kind of one of their weaknesses. I thought maybe I'm wrong, but
I actually thought about picking up Seattle's tight end. I've never heard of him before in my life, but he had like 100 yards and a touchdown or something.
Oh.
So that's probably a good thing for you. But I don't know how they're like. I know the Steelers are bad, but that's because I watch the games every week and I hear it all the time. Yeah. But I'm gonna call the next person, but at the same time next week.
All right, sounds good.
Sounds good. Thanks. Bye.
All right, bye.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Not much.
Hey, so do you like your matchup in terms of who you play this week? Like, do you feel like your projections are okay, if that makes sense? I'm sure that was an awful question to ask first. So I'll ask you about Carson Wentz. So what have you read about the Eagles and like what have they said like when he maybe could return?
I think right now he's still not cleared for contact, but they're thinking potentially week 3. But I feel like they say that every single week is potentially next week. But
I got you. I mean, hopefully this doesn't turn into one of those, unfortunately, like, I hate to like throw him under the bus here, but an Andrew Luck situation where he was just like, oh, it's going to be pushed back a week, or oh, it's this, no, it's that, and then. But I don't think it will be. I think he'll be back pretty soon. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just assuming based off what he says and stuff.
mm-hmm.
I guess you. Do you have any players?
Like the rehab was going pretty well. I mean, to be back and doing everything besides contact at this point is pretty. I think it's pretty good after the injury he had.
Mm-hmm. I think he did do a little contact drills. I mean, they weren't obviously since he's the star quarterback, they weren't allowed to touch him. But like. Everyone was blocking around him, and I think someone like fell too close to him or something weird, or I could be just be assuming from other. But point being, I think they're like, hey, we'll just stop this right now. If you prove what you need to, type thing. Do you have any Ravens or Bengals this week for tonight's game?
No, I don't think.
My buddy Alex does. The guy you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
He has AJ Green, so root for AJ Green to do bad, which in theory I kind of want because I have Cincinnati's running back.
Oh, okay.
So you played LaShawn McCoy, obviously, last week versus the Ravens, and he didn't do very well, right?
No, he did pretty poorly.
That's what I'm nervous about. I mean, I'm excited. I hate so obviously you've never played fantasy, but it's not obvious. But so Thursday night games are unfortunately very hit and miss. Meaning sometimes your player will go off, but most of the times it's like they don't even they're not there. Like the score won't be very good, or they're more inconsistent than rather like a Sunday or a Monday night game, if that makes sense.
Mm.
But I'm sure you'll adapt to that and learn. Be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't start him or should start him or whatever.
Got it.
So who'd you try to pick up? Were you able to claim everyone you picked up this week, or did someone?
I think there was someone on the Dolphins. I think
Kenny Stills.
Kenny Stills. I was gonna pick up, but someone else got him. But
No, I guess
I don't really know that much about him, so
No, it's not that.
it just seemed decent projections. But I wound up picking up the Jets running back Powell.
Yeah, that's really confusing to me because the guy. So I just talked to Mike. He's the person I called before you, and he has Isaiah Crowell, and he got like 20 points, which I know that doesn't mean much, but that means that he gets he gets the ball more a little bit but the guy you just picked up, Powell, he's still projected to get like 9 points, which is like starter, projections at times. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I think I was reading some of the news for him, and it said that he didn't get as many, I guess, handoffs or snaps or whatever as the other guy, but that he would do okay. I dropped Ronald Jones, which he wasn't even like playing
right, yeah. So
on my bench, so I got rid of him.
I can't remember. Tampa Bay had a starter. I think another one of my buddies picked him up that he was projected to start. But the guy you had, I think you drafted him. He was projected. He was like a rookie and was going to start, but he just, I don't know. Well, maybe he'll get back into the fold of things later, but I don't see it happening anytime soon, I guess.
Yeah, so I dropped him. So
That makes sense. And then you said Cody Parkey. I hope I probably butchered that last name. He played for the Eagles before?
I think he played for the Eagles a couple years back.
Oh, I got you. How did Evan Ingram do last week versus the Jaguars for you?
Not very good.
Not very good.
I think my whole team pretty much did not very good except for Ajayi.
Oh,
So out of like 60-something points. So
well, I mean, in theory, I can't remember if my buddy had a Monday night player, the guy you played last week. But you were leading until Aaron Rodgers started playing, which is not awful. You know what I mean?
that's true. Yeah, I think if Aaron Rodgers didn't come back into the game, I had a chance,
Right.
or it would have at least been very close. Which I was kind of rooting for Aaron Rodgers not to come back in the game.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. So
But I didn't see the end of the game, but I figured I saw that he came back out after the half and
right.
figured that he would, in general, Aaron Rodgers fashion, do pretty well, even injured.
Right. So he has a sprained knee. So if by chance you knew something about the medical field, what would a person do if they how would a professional athlete come back from a sprained knee? Would you sit them out, or would you be like much is tolerated, or would it not be worth it? Like there's too much risk.
I mean, it depends on the severity of the strain, or sprain. Sorry, of the sprain. A sprain is a partial tear, so you could have a sprain that is completely torn, or just slight, just a little bit. It's when it comes to athletics, I think usually the athlete's going to want to play through an injury.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Aaron Rodgers, especially, I think wasn't he out most of last season for a broken collarbone?
Correct. Yes.
So for him to get injured in the first game of the season, I feel like looking at some interviews after the game, it seemed like he was a little bit medicated.
See,
He was very glossy-eyed and wasn't making much sense in his after-game interviews. So they must have given him something.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that for the most part, the athlete is going to want to play anyway. And I think it really has to come down to how severe it is and the risk of further injury. I'm sure maybe he'll come out with a knee brace on or something like that. But at least for being able to get around in the pocket and everything, you could see that he was really less mobile on that knee because just any lateral motion is going to put a lot of stress on it. And I think even the commentators were saying that he really was a lot less mobile and really couldn't step on his throwing foot, or his front leg.
Evidently it didn't matter that much.
No.
Yeah.
For the most part, he has the arm, as long as it's not the arm, but he's not going to be as mobile to maybe get out of the pocket or get out, break tackles or something like that.
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
You'll see that a little bit more.
Right. Who would you say if I asked this already, because I asked this to Mike too, who was your most disappointing player of week one?
Probably Mariota.
No, that makes sense. I mean, he was your, quarterbacks probably should get you like easy 15 points. Even though the scoring's different, but that's what they probably should give you, like on an average day.
Yeah, because I think he got about 2 or 2.5.
Did he where? Do you know when he got hurt during the game? Because it was delayed like 4 times.
Yeah, I wasn't watching the game. I just kept checking my phone, and
Right.
every time I checked it, it said it was delayed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have been in the third quarter, though.
I got
So,
you.
I mean, he was not playing a very good game before that anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is he out for? He's not out for the year, is he?
No, I think he returned to practices. I think it was just a bruised elbow.
Oh, I got you.
But I don't know. I just decided to go with something else. I'm hoping Wentz comes back, so it's more of just like someone to fill in for now. And
Right. I almost.
but,
Sorry, I forgot that you took Wentz with your first pick. So like he's not even playing yet. But I mean, if
which,
you,
apparently it's not.
I mean,
something
I
you
don't.
do.
I mean, it could
And
pan
if
out, but he'd have to average like 3 or 4 touchdowns a game for it to be worth it. I guess I don't know if that makes sense. Because like, didn't you have like so Ajayi in theory, like
Mhm.
he only had like did he have like over 20 touches in terms of rushing yards? But yet he had 2
He only
touchdowns.
had like 60-something rushing yards, but he had 2 touchdowns.
Right, so and he got like you 20 plus points, but like for a quarterback to get you that, they have to like not throw any interceptions, and like a touchdown for them is only 4 unless they run it in, which would be 6. So like having a mobile quarterback like Tyrod or Mariota at one point, that would have helped you in the long run. I mean, that'll help you out. You'll have a different way to earn points for your players.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna call the next person, but hopefully around the same time next week. But thanks for calling, or you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Hey, what's up?
Not too much. How are you?
I'm good.
So I guess I should have asked last person this, but how'd you do last week? Did you win? Yeah, you won.
Yeah, I won. I beat. I'm not sure who I beat, but I won.
You beat the
Five.
beat the girl I just got off the phone with. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, I won because thankfully Rogers came back in the game, and I ended up winning.
I got you. So I do not want him to play this week. I think they should rest him.
Well, that's because you play me.
Correct. Yes. Exactly. How did Jimmy do? He didn't do amazing last week, right? Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham. No, I think he had like maybe a point. He didn't do much.
Yeah. So like I had Travis Kelce in last week, and I was like, okay, he's gonna be a freak athlete, and he got 6 yards, 1 reception for 6 yards.
Really?
Supposedly he had like multiple like targets because like you have the little things like that they'll tell you how your players did or didn't do because I didn't get to watch the game. And he had like 7+ targets, but like they just didn't connect, which was frustrating. But I'm hoping against the Steelers that they stay true to themselves and can't cover a tight end. So
Yeah, he'll probably have a decent game.
yeah. So do you have a backup quarterback?
My backup quarterback? Yeah, it's
Oh, it's
Houston.
Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, because I wanted to stack him with DeAndre Hopkins, but we'll see how it goes. Did you pick up anyone off waivers this week?
No, I did not. I didn't have a chance to look. I was going to, but I didn't really look into it very much.
No, that makes sense.
Kind of busy.
I think I picked up Chris Thompson. He's a running back for Washington Redskins. He was very good
He's
last
starter.
year. He doesn't start, so AP starts, and I got AP.
Oh yeah. Does somebody have AP? Did
I
you
have
get
AP.
him?
Yeah, I got him
Oh, okay.
like right when they signed him, and I was like, well, hopefully he'll just become the starter. And then I tried to pick up the Saints defense last week, and I was like, because I didn't like the Cowboys versus the Carolina Panthers. I thought Zeke would run all over them, but evidently he did not. And
No.
the Saints got me -9 points, and Carolina Panthers got like 9 points. So I was like, what the?
Yeah, my running backs didn't do too good either last week. Freeman and Derrick Henry. Neither one of them did very well.
For some reason, how many? That was the Derrick Henry was in that rain delay last week, correct?
Yeah.
It was like
yeah.
delayed like 3 times.
So the game took forever. Yeah, I don't know how long.
I got you. So you have the Ravens defense. Oh, you have 2 players tonight. You have the kicker and you have Justin Tucker and the Ravens defense.
Yeah, they're like my top. The Ravens defense got me a lot of points last week.
Yeah, I saw that. I honestly thought they'd get you more based off the score, but I guess they didn't maybe score themselves a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I got a few turnovers. But
I don't. So I got rid of the Saints defense because I'm like that was a total waste. I'm like I'm not. It's not worth it. I mean, obviously they're not going to get -9 again, but so I tried to get. I just picked up the Jets defense based off hype of Monday night. I watched a little bit of it, and they did play better than the Lions offense. But I'm assuming I can't think of his name. What's the Miami Dolphins quarterback's name?
Tannehill.
Tannehill is going to play worse, even worse than Matthew Stafford. So I'm hoping for that.
Yeah. I think that'd be a pretty safe bet.
Oh wait, you have 3 players tonight. So you have Giovanni Bernard, and then the Ravens defense and the
Oh.
kicker.
Yeah, I might want to take him out before the game starts. I don't know.
Right,
He didn't do much last week.
No, I got you.
I don't know who I'd play instead with flex. I don't think Blunt had any points last week.
He had
either.
-1.
Jeez. I heard somebody said like the Lions haven't had a 100-yard rusher since Reggie Bush was there or something.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm not Paul. I don't know, to be honest. You could put Jesse James as your flex if you didn't want to start Giovanni. Or no. Well, so you could put. I guess there wouldn't be any difference between the. I guess you could maybe hope the LeGarrette Blunt did better. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't. I'll probably just.
Oh,
keep it because it's probably too
shoot
late
Chase.
now. The game started.
Yeah, because it says one. It's no whatever.
Oh well.
Joe Mixon got me like 20 points last week, so I'm hoping. I don't think he'll do something like that, but I'm hoping he does something. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Bernard, I guess, doesn't play as much anymore. I don't know.
I think it's like similar to like a very, very consistent third down back, if that means sense. Like if it's a passing down, he's automatically in type thing. Because he's
Yeah.
good. They just don't use him every down necessarily.
Well, in that playoff game, he played pretty good against us or something. I can't remember.
Hmm
Or he and then he fumbled or something, I think.
No, that was Jeremy Hill.
Oh, that
plays
was
for the
Jeremy.
Patriots now.
Okay.
Who was your most disappointing player week 1?
Probably Freeman. I don't think he had maybe like 4 or 5 points. And he was always a big point getter for me last year.
Right.
That was disappointing. That game was a crap show anyway, I guess, Thursday night. I didn't get to watch it. But
Yeah, it wasn't very exciting. Like I tried to watch, so I watched a little bit of it, and then it was just it was very inconsistent offense, if that makes sense. It didn't
Yeah,
make any
that's
sense.
what I
Like so,
heard.
they would give the ball to Julio Jones, at least Falcon wise, and like he would work, pretty much, and then they would kind of open up the run game and stuff. But like I don't understand like why they couldn't use Julio Jones like you would use Calvin Johnson, just throw a fade to him and have a jump ball. I mean like.
yeah, I know.
Because every time they get in that happened last year in the playoff game for them, they couldn't score in the red zone against the Falcons, and then the game on last Thursday, they couldn't score against the Eagles again. I think I said Falcons, but that's not the point.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah,
And I saw the end of the game. They had a chance there, but
I guess so. I forget that like Antonio scored. I know that sounds crazy last week versus the Browns.
yeah, he scored. He seemed like he had a quiet game, but I mean, he had some decent points for me. I forget how many points it was, but
I remember. I think it was like 13 or something, but I think it was higher than that. So I'm not positive.
it was right around
Oh.
there, I think. Yeah.
So Joe Mixon right now got me -1 points. Negative point. Actually, it's not one. It's not even 1 point. It's -0.1.
Oh, so I lost a yard, I guess.
I get. Yeah. I hope I don't. Oh, whatever. I don't care that much.
So I'm
So
winning. All right.
yeah. I was
I'm
gonna.
plus 10.
There you go.
0.1.
So the Steeler game. Do you think that's unfortunately a sign of what we're going to be, or do you think that's more a fluke?
Oh God, I hope not. I mean, they can't turn the ball. There's no way they turn the ball over 6 times a game. I mean, if there's one less turnover, they probably win that game. They still should have won the game
Right.
for as bad as they played. But if they even have 3 or 4 turnovers, any other team better than the Browns is going to beat them easily.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we got so lucky when TJ blocked the punt or blocked the field goal. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
Like, because
that-
it would have been a win.
had a hell of a game.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a quiet 4 sacks.
I know. Yeah, I only remember like 1 or 2.
I know, and then it was like 4 sacks, 11 touchdowns. Excuse me, 4 sacks, 11 tackles,
yeah.
and
Forced
one blocked
fumble,
punt.
didn't he? No, he didn't have forced fumble.
it was a block punt.
Right.
Or, God, it was a block kick.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, wow.
I don't know. I don't know if they bounce back. Is Ben even playing? Do they know yet or what?
I don't know. They said something's wrong with his elbow. I'm assuming it's like, I don't know what's wrong with it.
His turnover bone is acting up.
Yeah, that's must what it be. Because like I wish there was a way like you could tell like you get an alert like oh player's hurt like during the game. Because like I'd like to because like there was a few times like he had a turnover. He threw like a deep ball to AB, and it like wasn't close. Like it was like 10 yards off. You know what I mean? It was like.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then there was one, AB just ran like a fade type thing for like 15, 20 yards, like 10, 15 yards, and Ben hit the defender in the back of the head. Like it was like, why are you throwing the ball? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was
I know
like,
what you mean.
but I don't know if those were before injury or after injury or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know either, man.
Yep. Do you think Bell waits 10 weeks to come back?
It certainly looks like it. I'm going to lean toward yes.
So obviously prior to this year, like it would have sounded like I'd been so like, why get rid of this guy? Like he's the slow Marshall Faulk, and then like now it's like what? Why do you what? I don't. So like I don't feel like if he doesn't come to week 10, I don't feel like he wants to be here anymore. And then I feel like if he waits that long, the Steelers aren't going to want him at all. But then he's just going to walk for free in theory. You know what I mean? Not actual money,
yeah.
but like we won't get anything in return. And that's just like,
Well, no.
I wish there was
it'll
more.
Open up a lot of space, I guess, cap-wise is one way to look at it. But if Connor can even do half of what he did on week 1, week in and week out, that's pretty good.
Right, yeah.
I was
But
very pleasantly surprised by Connor. So.
mm-hmm. And maybe it'll help when I think Vance McDonald's is supposed to play, but I don't know if he'll
I
play
forgot.
Sunday.
He's always hurt.
Yeah, but we'll just wait and see what happens, I guess. I don't know. I'm a little nervous that we won't be able to. I don't want to say stop Pat Mahomes, but just we'll give up too
Who
many
did they
easy
play
plays.
last week?
So the Chiefs played. What did you say, this week or last week?
Last week.
The Chiefs played the Chargers last week.
Well,
And
and he
he-
threw, 4 touchdowns?
I think it was 3, but it might have been like close. It was like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns or something. And I'm
Okay.
just like, but yet he only threw to Travis Kelce for 6 yards. But yeah. So we'll just see what happens, I guess.
Did our rookie make any plays? I don't remember her first rounder.
I can't. I'm unfortunately getting confused with the third preseason game, so I can't get the interception out of my mind. But I feel like
Okay.
he made 1 or 2 plays, but it wasn't anything crazy. But unfortunately, on a play, I think one play he actually got called for like a personal foul, like a taunting type play, which is BS. And no, I'm unfortunate. He had 1 penalty, but I can't remember if it was obviously not for anything good. But I don't think he
Yeah.
did anything that was like you could tell if he's going to pan out or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. But I think I'm going to call Alex next. I can't remember who I put on the list. But thanks for calling. Same time next week, and sounds good.
All right. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, not too much. So we played week 1, obviously, and I think it was technically close around 4 o'clock, and then my players didn't rate. I can't remember. Travis Kelce only got me 6 points. You had him last year, right?
I had him last year, yeah. I mean, by just looking at what the scoreboard was, yeah, Travis Kelce didn't help you at all.
No, because I was excited when Zach Ertz, like the touchdown machine, only got you like 4.8. I was like, okay, that's reasonable. I mean, like Travis Kelce's going to get that, and then he didn't.
I mean, what kept you in it was not only both your running backs but your quarterback.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
I didn't start.
Some of your bench, but it wouldn't have helped any. I mean, Jordan Reed would have
Obviously been better, but like
got
what?
you a little more. But what helped me in the win was Alvin Kamara.
Oh yeah, I mean he's like, so he's pretty much. I don't want to annoy him this far, but he's pretty much Le'Veon Bell with speed. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? So you and then what didn't help me at all? I was like, okay, I'm not gonna play the Panthers. I'll just switch out of defense. The Saints are playing Ryan Fitzpatrick. He'll throw a few picks, give me some points. That'll work out. They had me -9.
Yeah.
I was like,
I never expected Fitzpatrick to pull that off. I highly doubt he'll ever do that again.
no. But didn't Philip Rivers play real well for you?
Philip Rivers did. He started struggling, but then that second half, he just started. Once they were down, he just started flinging them.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, that's kind of like his MO in a way.
Those are the kind of quarterbacks that you want in this league because as soon as teams get down big, like if it's Philip Rivers or if it's Ben, they're just going to start flinging the ball and they're going to start scoring points for you.
Right, yeah, that's what
No doubt.
I know what you're talking about. The Texans didn't do too bad defensively. I mean, obviously they didn't do -9, but didn't they get you 4 or 5 points?
Got me 7, couple sacks and a pick and 2 fumble recoveries. Yeah, got me
Yeah.
the little points, but going up against Brady, I mean, I thought it would have been worse.
Right.
They should bounce back with Tennessee, you would expect.
Yeah. Because I think Tennessee has to play a backup because I don't think Mariota's going to play.
And then they don't have Delaney Walker, so there's another threat that they don't have.
Right, yeah. What was I going to say? Are you is Fournette going to play this week?
He says he's a game time decision. He does not have an idea yet if he's going to play or not. He wants to, but he says it's going to come down to the game time.
No, I got you. So based off, what was I going to say? Since they're all Sunday games and Monday games, would you put in another running back, or what you would have to? I was trying to think how you could work it, but
I'm honestly going to wait till the very
no, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
last minute. I could always put in another running back, but I'm waiting for that last minute.
well, the way your lineup is on the bench wise, so you have 2 Cleveland running backs, but the rest of the people are wide receivers. But then I realized
if I go, it's going to be Duke Johnson. I'm going to go with.
Right, but then I realized your flex is a running back.
Yeah.
So you could just move your flex up and then make your flex either a tight end, wide receiver, or running back, which you have plenty of wide receivers.
Yeah.
Did you pick? I doubt you did, based off you didn't lose. Did you try to pick up anyone off waivers?
No, not this week. There wasn't. I was actually trying to look for. I was trying to get Jared Cook, but
Yeah, I think my
what everyone saw what he did, it was like, man, first come first serve. Wow.
Right. I think Mike picked him up actually. I'm not. No. I lied. My boss picked him up. The guy you're playing, I think. Nope, I'm wrong again. Someone picked him up. It might have been Mike, but that's not the point. Mike Irvin. I think you've met him once or twice, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just if I find someone that's interesting, has a couple good weeks, no one knows about, I'll pick them up. But I like the team I have.
No, that makes sense. I mean, so I always every year I picking up waiver players. If they're if it's in terms of just fixing your bench, I'll just hold this player. Maybe I'll use him during a bye week or something. But I understand what you're saying completely. I mean, you don't really need anyone at the moment. So
People, you look at everyone. There's people already stressing out and already going out picking up 4 or 5 different people, and it's only been 1 week.
right, yeah. I mean, I've done that too, so I don't blame you. So you're a Packers guy, right?
Yes, huge Packers fan, absolutely.
I got you. So is Aaron Rodgers playing this week, do you think? Or would you play? Okay, if he was not in terms of
this week,
yeah, would you play him if he was hurt? If he, you know what I mean?
knowing that he tore that ACL in high school, that he got repaired in college.
Right.
I would. I mean, how they had him play the second half, he's going to have to they're going to have a bunch of shotgun packages for him. There's
Right.
no way he's playing under center.
Right. What I don't think is a big deal for. See, I never understand the transition from college to the pros. People are like, oh, he can't go under center, but then half the teams 75% of their passes is from shotgun or something even higher than that, and it's what I don't understand why is it such a big deal. Sometimes I understand talent wise, but then I'm just why is it a big deal?
I mean, the offensive line's going to have to show up if he's going to play, because he takes a shot to the knee.
Right.
He won't be back.
I mean, the sack he took was kind of fluky, you know what I mean? Because he tried to duck under it, it looked like, and then he just landed awkwardly.
And if they put the Sean Kaiser in, as you saw what Cleo Mack did to him, I can only imagine what that Minnesota defensive line would do.
Right, yeah. Obviously, since you won and it wasn't And I don't think any of your players were like. I guess I mean in theory it might be Zach Ertz, but who would you say? I guess it could be a bench player. Who was your most disappointing player week 1?
Ooh. I'm gonna have to let me take a quick look. What disappointing player week 1 would have to have gone? I mean, without getting injured, Leonard Fournette really wasn't.
Oh yeah, that's a good. That makes sense. That kind of makes because
I mean, with the quad with his hammy, yeah. I mean, but it's week 1.
No. I'm just saying. I'm just something to talk about. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like it's like, correct. I understand what you're saying.
I mean, you can't expect them to go out there and pull 100 yards every game. I mean, everyone's, and you also have to look. Most of these players either played like a quarter or didn't play this entire preseason.
Right. Yeah, that totally makes sense. I get what you're saying. But I look.
That's what all these people were saying. They don't play these preseason games, and you saw how many injuries we had, how many people are out. Look, Greg Olson,
Right.
they're going month to month with him with his same foot injury.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. What was I gonna say? I think Kamara should do. I mean, in theory, he can't. No one can really guard him, and they can just maybe contain him once in a while. But he should go off versus the Browns. I think it's at home too. No, wait, never mind.
Yeah, I believe they are still at home with Cleveland.
So that should get you a big time. Was he your first pick?
He was my first pick.
Yeah.
Cannot go wrong with a guy like that.
Right. No. Yeah.
He's got that Darren Sproles kind of.
But he's like big. Like I mean, I don't know if he's like. He seems like he's 200 plus. Not like I'm not talking like 220, but it seems like he's like right around 200 pounds. But yet he is, like you said, the Darren Sproles for that offense now. But bigger, so he can maybe take a little more of a beating.
Because he'll get the carries now until Mark Ingram comes back, and then
I think
that's what they'll do with him.
I feel like Mark Ingram might have to take a back seat a little bit this year. I mean, he kind of did last year, but I feel like he'll take more. But I could be wrong. You know what I mean? Because I feel like Kamara's obviously more talented. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch the Saints. Maybe he can't pass block or something as good. Did Nick Chubb do anything for you?
No, actually, Nick Chubb, I don't even think really even
He
played.
didn't even play.
I've kept him just in case
No, I got you.
there's that one game that everyone's like, oh, he's gonna really shine. But
Right. No, I mean, maybe like somehow he'll just get to the start, top of the depth
depends on
chart.
what the record is towards the end of the year, and
Right. Yeah. No, that
if he
makes sense.
does play, I can at least see what he has. And
I got you. That makes sense. Allen Robinson will be very frustrating. Well, I think it's mostly because I don't know if I had him last year or it was 2 years ago. He would one game he'd get like 100 yards and a touchdown. The next game he wouldn't show up. But yet he played with Blake Bortles, so maybe it'll be a little different with Mitchell Trubisky. But I've had him for I think it was like last year or the year before. But maybe he'll be different with the Bears. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, definitely it's year 2 for Trubisky. So I mean, he actually didn't look bad in that first half with Green Bay. It was the second half that came. They just disappeared.
Right. But I think I'm gonna call. I think I have to call Alex next. But same time next week. And thanks for calling.
Yeah, no problem at all. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Bye.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. What's going on?
Oh, not too much. You won week 1, correct?
Yes, I did. I beat T-Bone.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah. So did you see AJ Green scored?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he must have he must only have 14 yards, but he has 6.4 yards or 6.4 points, so that's a touchdown and 14 yards.
Nice.
There you go.
Okay, I see that now, so that's good.
Right. You play she's a physical therapist from work. That's who that is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was. But, yeah, I mean, got a pretty good team. Russell Wilson gave me some good stats there last week, and,
The thing with Russell Wilson, I mean, he's pretty much the whole team. Last year he did have Jimmy Graham, and he has Doug Baldwin, which I think they get along personal wise, but talent wise, he doesn't really have a lot of people to throw to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if he's either throwing the ball or running the ball, and once in a while he'll hand off the ball, but he does everything, so he'll get you those yards like a running back, but yet he'll still throw the ball as many times as a normal quarterback would, if that makes sense.
yeah, that's true. Yep.
And I got you.
I got some points out of Rex Burkhead, too.
No, I think that's good because I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's a starter, but I can't remember why. I thought there was a fluke. Oh, because Dion Lewis left, and then James White, he did pretty well. But Burkhead gets a lot of touches. I think they like him a lot.
Yeah, I saw. I don't forget how many points he gave me last week, but it was pretty good there. So yeah, I mean he's been giving me some points too.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the team I got right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, it's working out good. Who was, even though you won, who was your most disappointing player week 1? I have an idea based off.
I don't know. I would say probably not that it's not that it's a big disappointment because I mean it's just a kicker, but I'd say
That's what I was going to say, yeah. But I mean, it wasn't like, once again, I think it would have been hit you different if you lost by like 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Maybe like you
Yeah.
just can make one kick type thing. Oh, this is a question I've been asking like the Steeler fans. I didn't ask Giles this based off he likes the Packers, and then I didn't ask Gabby this based off if she likes Philadelphia. But do you think Sunday's game was a sign of things to come? Well, that's a bad question. Do you think it was more fluky than anything, or do you think it, unfortunately, it might be who we are?
well, I don't know, man. I mean it's tough to tell. It's early, but you know I think we're. I always try and be the optimistic.
No, I got you. Let's hear it.
So I mean I think that week 1 was mainly due to the weather. I mean you know
Right.
it was bad. It was rainy. So you know I think that you know that kind of messed up Ben and it kind of messed up you know
The receivers.
everyone pretty much. The
Yeah.
receivers they couldn't catch the ball. So I mean you know we'll see what they do this week. I mean I don't know. I think they. I mean now Ben's questionable. So I mean I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so I shouldn't say supposedly. It's been reported that he hurt his elbow in the game. There was like one pass. It was a deep pass to AB, and it was way off. And then there was another pass like AB ran like this 10-yard like fade type route, and it hit the defender in the back of the head type thing. So I don't know if he was hurt after he threw those balls. You know what I mean? Like he got hurt and then those plays were called, or this was prior to him getting hurt. If that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
the timing looked, a lot of things looked off on Sunday, and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I'd say it probably happened before then, you know, and he just was playing with it. But yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. We'll see how he does.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see how they do.
Right, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
so, like, I always, like, joke with you the past few weeks, say, hey, like, what do you want for Bell, blah, 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 blah. And I might still do that in weeks to come. But, like, if he doesn't come back till, like, week 10, like, I don't know, like, what is he going, like, how is that going to, like, if this was a video game, it wouldn't be no big deal. Like, oh, you just put him in and like, whatever. But, like, I can't see him getting along with, like, coaches or, like, his teammates being okay with, I don't know. I just can't see it. But maybe I'm wrong.
I agree with you on that point. I mean, you know, it might, I don't know. I'd still think about trading him, you know. So, I mean, to keep that option open. But,
No, I
you
guess
know, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Everyone's high on James Conner, which I saw this article, I think it was in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, about how even if Le'Veon Bell comes back, you got to play Conner instead. Which
it depends. If it's 10 weeks, maybe that's okay. But if he comes back like just after next week,
yeah,
Connor's snaps are going to go way down. If that makes sense. Like he'll probably get touches, which he should. He's talented enough. I get that, but it shouldn't be like 50-50.
yeah. I mean, I agree. I think the kid's talented enough, and he's probably gonna be pretty good. But
Yeah.
you know, it's that I don't know. I mean, it's Le'Veon Bell.
Right. Exactly. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
so I totally
Yeah.
agree with you. So say something quick about. Well, it doesn't be quick, but like, so hype up the Mountaineers for everyone.
All right. Well, hey, man. I mean, we're 2-0 right now.
There we go.
Things are looking pretty great. You know, it's unfortunate this whole rain situation has got us not playing this week, but
Well, I mean, that's no big deal, just as long as everyone's, okay. So that's, I mean, in terms of the game, it only matters in the end of the season, if that makes sense. Because obviously we can't win and we can't lose, but if we need a win to get us into the playoffs, or somehow there's like 5 undefeated teams and they're like, well, they didn't play a game, plus they only play, one more game. They don't even have like a championship game type thing.
yeah.
That's the only thing but we just have to wait and see where it goes, because yet our November schedule is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you know, if we do get to that point where we're, in the college football playoff question, it's, I think not having NC State obviously hurts us. But, I mean, I think that, I don't know, DJ and I were talking about this earlier. It's just another reason to to keep us out. I don't think that. I don't know, but I mean, I kind of disagree with that too because the national media, for whatever reason, loved us this year. So I mean,
Yeah, I know what you mean, but to his point, and maybe like you would agree in years past, I always bring this up to people, but this is like old news, so I don't want to necessarily bring up old stories. But like 4 or 5 years ago, when we were leaving the Big East, and Kevin Jones didn't get Big East Player of the Year for averaging 20 and 10 is total BS. So like to the point that like we don't get enough credit. I think in years past that's completely true, but
Yeah.
I do agree with you. They love us. I mean, I don't love, but they enjoy talking about us at least, or picking
Oh,
us to
yeah.
win games.
oh yeah, I mean they like us, but I don't know. I mean, once we get to where we're playing Oklahoma, I don't know if they'll like us that much. I don't know if they'll pick us to beat them, but
Whoa, Alex. Check out your scoreboard real quick. AJ must have got you like 7 points. You get another touchdown?
he must have. Yeah, I see that. I got 15.6 now.
Oh, man, I should have started Andy Dalton. No, whatever. I started Jimmy Garoppolo this week. I'll probably regret it.
Who's the Randy Bullock? Who's that?
He's the kicker for Cincinnati, but
Oh,
you don't have, you can't
I can't play him.
you
now.
can't play him now since they, yeah.
But anyways, he's got a couple points too, but he's on my bench.
Yeah, but I mean, it's only extra points, so I'm sure Boswell, hopefully it's in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah,
So hopefully, I don't know, we'll see how the weather is, I guess.
yeah. What do you think of Tyrod Taylor for Cleveland, man? He's pretty good.
So he didn't play like this I mean, I guess he was okay in Buffalo, but like he got them to the playoffs, but then he got benched for Peterman, which was absurd based off that all he does is throw picks.
Yeah,
But then like he looked so like he didn't look like extremely. It wasn't like, oh, he's going to the Pro Bowl this year. But like there were certain times like he just sat there like it was no big deal, ran away from our blitzers and just threw like perfect passes to open people, and I'm just like, what the
Yeah.
like what is going like what the
yeah. I was pretty impressed with him, honestly. I mean, I thought he played really well.
mm-hmm.
So
I mean, I don't
I'm kind of worried about her having that
events.
have Tyrod there.
Yeah, especially versus New Orleans. I mean, you always have Russell, so I mean that'll be good until you have to play Luck or something. But I mean, both your quarterbacks are very good.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I mean, I should be all right. I think we're gonna be all right this year.
That makes sense. But I think I'm gonna call Drew now, and then I'm gonna call DJ. So, but thanks for calling. Same time. Well, it'll probably be a little earlier next week, but same time next week.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
All right,
Bye.
I'll talk to you.
Sounds good.
All right, bye bye.
Hey, what's up?
Hello. Hey, not much, man.
Oh, not too much. So, did you? I think you actually played my boss and lost. But how do you think you did week one? I don't think you really have anything to worry about. I think it was just more of like a fluke matchup, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I got the better team. Stafford's performance obviously drug me down there.
Right. Will you play?
You know, it is what it is.
Will you play Mahomes this week?
No, I don't think so. I'm probably going to stick with Stafford one more week here and see what things are looking like.
I
If
got
need
you.
be, I'll go to Mahomes.
I mean, I know it's not a big deal because obviously if Stafford gets touchdowns, it's not a big deal. But stacking him and Tyreek Hill would be big, I think, for you in the long run. But maybe not.
Could be. I
Right.
don't know. We'll see. I may change my mind yet. I've been beating it back and forth.
I got you.
Mahomes, I think, has been a big ad for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
What is he like the number 2 quarterback in fantasy right now? Forget where he ranks.
If he would be, he'd
Standard
be
leagues.
behind Drew Brees, I think, because Drew Brees.
Yeah, he's a
Or
top
maybe-
5 anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Drew Brees, like had like silent. He had like way high 400 yards and like 3 touchdowns and no picks. But
Yeah.
this defense gave up 48 points.
Oh yeah. So we'll see what happens, but
I got you.
more or less disappointed in Stafford's output, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget who his big performer was, but somebody really overperformed. I felt like. Forget
Oh,
who
it was probably Connor, to be honest with you, because he almost got 30 points. I think it was like 29.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it could be. In a couple leagues, I picked up Connor, but I don't think I have him in the one that we're playing in. I don't think I have him.
No, he does. Because okay, this is the story. So you're gonna hear the story behind why I did not pick up James Conner. So it was like Le'Veon didn't show up. It's like, okay, Connor's gonna start week 1, and I was like, well, I like my bench, so I don't want to drop anyone. But it was like, okay, I'm gonna see. And I got on Twitter, which I know it's not really, and then people and the reporters were saying, oh, Bell could sit out for 10 weeks. So I'm like, done. I'm getting him. I'm picking up Conner. And then this was literally like a 2-minute span. And I go to pick him up, and he already picked him up, and he was like 2 tables away. And I'm like, you're an asshole. Because like, we're eating lunch, and I'm like, what? Why did I was this close? I should have just picked him up and like, screw it, I'll just drop someone for week 1. just take a chance on some like money points. You know what I mean? Not money,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean.
No, my concern with Connor is, basically, are the wheels going to fall off? Because
No, I mean that totally makes
Colin
sense.
kinda
Right? Yeah. I
runs
mean,
people a lot, and he's prone to injury already. So,
right.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that was probably a big addition for him there.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, in theory, I think both your teams, like you and him, scored the most points in week 1. I could be wrong. He
I
had
think
like
we did, yeah. So we both have good teams.
right. So,
We'll
right.
see.
So I mean,
We should-
right. So my point was, what was I gonna try to say? So like, it was like a fluke matchup. So like, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, if I had played anybody else, I'd have won.
right. I don't think you. Oh, I forgot to do this because he wasn't projected to get a lot of points, and I forgot to pick him up based off the Fournette injury. But you got T.J. Yeldon this week.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm just kind of planning for if Fournette should go down. I think Yeldon would be a big producer. So,
Oh, I got you.
and even when he's not, even if Fournette were to play, I think Yeldon could still get some flex potential. But he's
Mhm.
definitely worth a roster spot, anyways.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, no, I totally agree.
I forget who else I added. Let me take a look real quick, Ben.
I got you. Oh, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Jackson.
Hang on,
I have
I'm
it in
gonna try
front
to
of
put
me.
you on speaker here. Let me see if I can figure it out. All right, let me look here. I can't remember if I added that guy from the Jets or not.
I don't see anyone unless you started him.
Free cash. Yeah, I didn't start him. Sean Jackson, I think I might have added him this week.
I mean, that could be a big pickup. I don't know. I just don't. Even though Ryan Fitzpatrick went off, I was talking to a coworker at work today. I feel like we already know who he is, if that makes sense. Like it was more fluky than anything, but I could be wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or maybe the Saints defense, unfortunately, isn't as good as they projected as with last year.
Team Shreve, let me see. You have to be a way for me to go back to my scores. There it is. Yeah, James Conner got 29. That basically had him.
Right.
Hooked up. That Evans guy from Tampa Bay scored a bunch too.
Yeah.
I had Tyreek Hill, and he was really good. So
I mean, didn't he get you like 34 or 31, something ridiculous?
yeah, like 35.3.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still beating back and forth on putting Mahomes in or not. I probably should, but
Right. I don't know. Should is a weird one. I think the Steelers defense, even though in years past when our pass defense was, in theory, I thought not as good as people thought they were, they would still make like timely turnovers once in a while. And I know it's week 1, but based off last year and based off week 1 again, I feel like Mahomes could throw a lot on us, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I think they might win.
If we
They
go,
probably will.
I hope. I don't know.
That tie was bad, man.
I'm hoping for some fluke reason that like us in Baltimore or us in Cincinnati have like the same record, and then the tie is like a tiebreaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'd rather just have the win.
Well, I agree. It's just a shame that it went down the way it did there with that. But I was surprised there weren't more pickups really in our league. There wasn't that much activity.
I felt like I picked up like. So week 1, I didn't feel comfortable. I don't know, comfortable is the wrong word. I was like, well, Ezekiel Elliott's going to run all over the Carolina Panthers defense, and I don't think he had 100 yards, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to start Carolina. I'll just pick up the Saints versus Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I think he'll throw some picks. And they got me -9 points, and I was like, well, that was a total waste.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then Travis Kelce got me 0.6 points. He had 6 yards.
I don't know. Let me throw this at you here. Tariq Cohen. So I've got him on my bench. I'm really looking at this Lindsey guy from Denver. I don't know, man. I'm pretty high on him.
I thought about picking him up myself, but like I can't think of. So they have like they have Devin Booker, or I think that's the running back they have named, that plays for the Broncos, and they have someone else, and I can't think of who it is, and it's driving me nuts. So like I felt like they had 2 people in front of him. I thought, but
Yeah, I don't know. He was really good this past week.
he had like 15 touches or 17 touches, right?
Yeah.
Like if you go like attempts or whatever, or maybe it was
15.
Maybe it was points, and he only had.
Yeah, he
Okay.
15, 71 yards, scored like 16 points.
Right.
So it's pretty good. I almost picked him up, but I haven't yet.
No, I guess.
So I'm going to watch him and see what goes on. There's a bunch of guys, though, in our league that are still available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
I had Alfred Morris last week, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a big deal." I don't think I ended up starting him, but I'm not sure if I did or not. But he only got like 2 points, and like him and the other running back from the 49ers are projected to get the same amount of points, and I'm like, I am not touching them. I'll just either miss up on the opportunity or they'll just not perform.
You dropped him, right?
So I picked him up because I can't think of the running back. They picked up a free agent, the 49ers did, and they signed him a lot of money. He tore his ACL. It's like, oh, I'll pick up this other guy, and Alfred Morris was projected to be the starter. So I picked him up, and then he only got like 2.1, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just drop him to get someone else. And so I was kind of disappointed. I had Emmanuel Sanders, and he had like 17 points, and he was on my bench. I remember the reason I drafted him was Case Keenum, his quarterback now, threw a lot to Adam Thielen in the slot, and Emmanuel Sanders is a slot receiver. So I was like, okay, I'll pick this up, and it worked out. But, I mean, he could not perform as well this week.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
I got you. Even though you scored 120 points, who was your probably most, well, that sounds crazy to say, but who was maybe your most disappointing player?
Let me take a look here again. Probably that Collins guy from Baltimore. And I'm not sure what he's gonna. I mean, he scored a touchdown.
Right.
He fumbled it, so that took away some points. And I don't know. I kept him in the lineup tonight. I'm gonna give him another week.
No, I mean, that makes sense.
He's their primary back, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure he is. But, like, that week 1 versus the Bills was, like, a weird blowout for them, if that makes sense, because it was, like, 44-3. But, like, they kept giving everyone the ball, it seemed like. But I don't know if that's just week 1 since they're up by 40, or it's going to be, unfortunately, a consistent thing for you, meaning, like, have him as a fantasy owner.
We'll have to wait and see. But I saw I got DJ this week.
No, yeah.
Projected pretty close, pretty tight. He's got a pretty good team, too.
Yeah, sometimes I hate the projections, and sometimes I feel like they're helpful, but other times I feel like they're just frustrating.
Basically just inaccurate. I mean, you never know.
Right.
I don't know how they predict the points, but ESPN does a pretty poor job of it. I feel like.
I got you.
I don't know.
Would you like it to hype up the football team?
Who's
W.
that, the Mountaineers?
Yeah, Mountaineers.
Well, you know, it's a shame. You know, hope everything goes okay down there in the Carolinas with this hurricane coming in. But, you know, it really seems kind of stupid to think about football with that going on. But
No, I'm not.
I think it can potentially hurt us, you know.
I was talking to Alex about, because I called Alex right before you, and I was thinking about that. But again, we have to go like undefeated first or something for it to really come and play.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly it. I mean, it can potentially hurt you down the road. And this is a big hypothetical because I don't believe they're going to go undefeated.
Right.
You know, I think they're probably going to drop at least 2 games in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they go on, if they go undefeated, and then you have a Pac-12 champion who's maybe got 1 loss, and then, you know, you got your 2 SEC teams, or an SEC team and a Big Ten team that's going in.
Right, and then if
Yeah, who gets left out, and then there's someone else hanging around. It can factor in, I think.
right, yeah,
They're talking about on the message boards online scheduling a 12th game, but I just can't see that happening.
I don't really see who.
Well, I mean, there's like 6 teams now.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. I my fault. I see what you're saying.
Need a 12th game. Like South Carolina needs one.
Right. I got you.
Marshall needs one, but I don't want them. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different teams that need a game now, but it's just the logistics of college football. It's the big business and lining everything up. That's just not going to happen where they're just going to impromptu
Right,
schedule.
yeah.
It's not like high school where you get the option to schedule a 12th game and you just call a guy from Beaver Falls and say, hey, can we come up and play there? It doesn't work that way. You're not just going to get on the phone and call, you know,
No, that makes sense.
USC and say, hey, I'm rolling down here to South Carolina. Because then you got to get home and home at some point. It's not going to work out.
Maybe
So 12th game-
Dana can call his old shoot. I can't think of what the word I want to use. We can play Mike Leach.
Yeah. That would be nice. I would like to see that. An apple
Yeah.
off the leaf tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Dana is. But yeah, I don't know, man. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with them so far. They went down and took care of Tennessee. They looked good. You know, Youngstown State, they pummeled them when they had to.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, they scored. What Youngstown got 17, didn't they? I thought that was a little high. But
I wouldn't really. I don't know.
I don't know. There were a lot of possessions in the game because we were scoring so much. So
Right,
that
yeah.
kind of
But I like.
makes it there.
I mean, it might have been the delay. I'm not sure, but I like how we came out in the second half versus Tennessee and like took care of business. Like they weren't as good a team as us. A lot of times it seemed like, unfortunately, with our basketball team also, but like in Mountaineer history, if a team's sometimes inferior to us, we let them stick around. But like we just shut the door on that one.
And that definitely seems to happen. I don't know if that's characteristic of all universities or what, but it just seems to me, and maybe it's just because, like I said, that's the one that I pay attention to the most, that is a characteristic, that it's something they do. But
Right, I see what you're saying.
yeah, they came out and they put them away, and that was what needed to happen, because they played around with them in the first half a lot. And, eventually, and I think what happened in the second half, Pruitt couldn't make any adjustments or as many adjustments because, he's a first-year head coach. His coaches aren't all on the same page sometimes.
Mhm.
Dana's been there, what is this, year 8?
I don't know. You would know much better than me.
8 or 9.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there's a lot more continuity there. So, and I think that's starting to show. The
All right.
anti-Dana crowd doesn't want to buy into that, but there's a factor where, if you're together for a longer period of time, you have a little more cohesion as far as the staff goes, number one. But, the experience is definitely.
I like a lot of the transfers we're getting. I think we're getting very talented people to come to us and play. I mean, the defensive line wise, our corners. I don't.
Oh, yeah, grad transfers are big.
Mm-hmm.
It's Bigelow,
Oh, he seems pretty good. I like him.
Yeah, I just don't know why we can't recruit these guys in initially and develop them. There's a disconnect there.
Right, and that's very important. I mean, that's very important because that's obviously very important because if you can have more like let's say, so unfortunately, let's say we did really well this year. Do we guarantee we have a good quarterback next year? You know what I mean?
No, probably not.
But
Now-
to your point, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like
No, go ahead.
if we had the good freshmen or good classes coming in, they could grow and eventually maybe you could get like 2 or 3 back-to-back very good seasons. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Rather
yeah.
than just one based off a transfer.
Yeah, that continuity is the issue now. I mean, he kind of had to do it with Will because Will Greer's the best quarterback. Geno's played in the league and he's managed to stay in the league. So obviously Geno Smith is very good.
But I mean, he didn't.
People make fun of him because he's a laughing stock, but he's managed to stay in the league, so he's got some talent.
And to Geno's, I guess this would be to both their point, and I guess more towards Dana, he didn't recruit this guy, you know what I mean? But Geno was a very good college football player, don't get me wrong, and he has the best numbers in West Virginia history in terms of numbers, maybe not wins, because Pat has that. But I understand what you're saying, and I completely agree that Will Greer is the best talent that Dana's had or he's recruited here at least.
For a long time, he's the best. I mean, Trickett was terrible. I mean, basically.
Right.
Kyler Howard was okay. He was, basically he didn't quite have the athletic ability that a lot of high-end D1 guys have, but he had a lot of heart.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He could nail it. He could throw the deep ball, which was good.
Right.
Intermediate stuff he wasn't so good at, but, because I don't know that he could see, I think was the issue. He just didn't know where he was throwing it.
Right.
But it's easier. I don't know if it's easier to throw those long balls up or what, to a general area and let your wide receiver go get it. Maybe that's it. But yeah, anyways, like I say, man, I don't want to say that Geno was not, because right now you got to say that Geno's the most talented quarterback he's coached at West Virginia.
Correct.
We'll see what happens with Will down the road here. People can talk about Geno all he wants, but he's
Well, those
still
are different. So, like,
even at Clown show, so.
So, like, I know this is a bad example because, Will Greer is not Cam Newton. But, Cam Newton, came into the SEC, even though he was there before. But when he transferred back into the SEC, he had one good season, and he's considered, an Auburn all-time great, which he should be. But, like, obviously, Will Greer is not going to have the same numbers as Geno, but he could have – his greatness could be a tad different, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, and that legacy all depends on what you do while you're there. Cam Newton won a championship.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So is Will Greer going to do that? I'd like to think so, but that remains to be seen.
I got you.
Now if they fade and they end up going to the Alamo Bowl,
Right.
and he's probably remembered as a very good quarterback, but I'd still probably put Geno above him.
Correct.
As a
No,
large
in terms of – exactly, correct.
So yeah, we'll see what goes on. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with them. I think Kansas State will be a big test, although you don't know how good they are because they got pummeled at home. Was that last week? So
No, I got you.
we'll see.
But I think DJ is the last person I've called because obviously the group message my boss is on vacation or driving home from vacation. I might give him a short 5-minute call. But I'm going to call DJ, but around the same time next week, and thanks for calling.
All right, we'll see you, Ben.
So, bye.
Thank you, buddy. Bye.
Oh, not too much. What's up?
Yeah.
So, did you won week 1, correct?
Yes, sir.
Was it who'd you play week 1?
Mike.
Mike. I mean, in theory, obviously, Orleans team as overall did awful, but Drew Brees did really well for you, correct?
Yeah, they got down by 2 or 3 scores there, and they kind of had to throw it a lot there at the end, which helped me.
Right.
And I mean, they're traditionally a passing offense anyway, but them being down helped out. So
Right. So I picked up New Orleans like a few days before Sunday, and the defense, they got me -9 points. So like every time, obviously they had to come back, it was like a double negative because Tampa Bay scored on them, which made their defensive score go down. But then Drew Brees had to throw to Alvin Kamara, which Giles had, and I was like, this just sucks.
right,
Because it was
well, he could be their best receiver, and he's the running back. So
correct, yeah. Plus he's getting, plus he's like a receiver is going to have someone covering the whole time. With Kamara, I mean, he could just be pass blocking and just kind of fade off to the right or something. Even though you won, did you have like a disappointment of week 1?
I had Amari Cooper. He was not as good, I don't think, as people were expecting him to be.
Mm-hmm.
He had to go up against, I guess, Talib and Peters there for L.A.
Right, yeah.
They pretty much got an all-world defense there.
They do, yeah.
They've bought most of it, but I think he'll be all right going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, probably the weaker part of my draft was the receivers, because I waited later to take a receiver, because traditionally I like to go running backs,
yeah.
early. But
I always like to go quarterback too early because for the past let's say 3 years, I don't know if it's been 3, but 2 at least, I had Aaron Rodgers. And I know you don't take a quarterback early because, a running back can potentially get you way more points. But, he would always give me, 20-plus points. And I was like, this is so much more, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But I luckily didn't play Garoppolo week 1, and I played Andy Dalton, which I should have played him tonight because he's tearing it up eventually, according to the numbers.
I think quarterback's probably a little deeper this year than most.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of guys that can go out and get you 30 or 40 points.
Right,
probably
yeah.
half the starters in the league. So I mean, if you're in a 12-team league like we are, everybody's got a good shot at putting up a big number every weekend.
Right, yeah. So you're facing Drew this week. You had no Thursday night people. He had Alex Collins, the running back for Baltimore, which they're in the red zone, but I don't know if they'll necessarily give him the ball or if they're at the 19 or the 2-yard line.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous with
Tyreek Hill or Gurley.
No, just with, I guess, seeing what Rodgers did. I got Minnesota's defense, so I'm kind of hoping he sits out this weekend, and
Oh, I see what you're saying.
maybe they'll put up a big number there.
Right.
But I'd try not to make any moves or trades early if I'm winning.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to trust your draft process and your knowledge.
No, that makes sense.
A lot of people panic after the first week and start, unloading guys, and you got to stick with it for a few weeks before you start getting too crazy with moves.
No, I got you. I totally understand. Gronk balled out, right, week 1? He had 140 yards or something and a touchdown.
Who's that?
Gronk?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like Jacksonville in that game Sunday. I think they're looking for revenge, maybe, even though it's not really the same type of importance.
No, that makes sense. Unfortunately, I think their players will think it's that type of importance. Let's say they beat them, somehow they blow them out in the regular season, but they play them again in the playoffs. I wouldn't doubt if Tom Brady beats them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's way, way far away. How did Penny play? Rashad Penny?
Oh, I guess he didn't play very much.
He didn't play very much.
He's, I guess he lost the starting job to Carson, so
Yeah.
he'll probably be on my bench for a while until I move him or something.
Right. I mean, obviously it's the NFL, so someone could get hurt. You know what I mean? So maybe he would become the starter or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to take a couple of the newer guys later on in the draft because, they've got some potential there possibly. You never know. But for now, I guess he's on the bench as a running back. I've got Zeke, and then I'm really high on Jamal Williams. Williams. Of course, he's got Minnesota this weekend, so that could be a little more
Yeah,
difficult.
I don't.
Of course,
Yeah, I totally agree.
with if Rodgers is out, they'll maybe run the ball a little more. Who knows? But
Mhm.
I'm expecting a bigger weekend from Zeke. That Carolina defense is pretty stout, so
Yeah,
he put up a solid performance, but
he got
I
you
think
like
he'll be-
14, right? Like 14.9
yeah, I
or
think
something.
he'll have a better weekend.
Yeah. So, like in terms of actual defensive numbers, and I know they probably wasn't on each other all day, but like Odell week 1 got me like 11 points or something like that. He had like 113 yards.
Yeah.
But he's playing the Cowboys this week, so I'm hoping no one can cover him, which no one should be able to
Right.
cover him, and then it just goes off. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you a quick question about the Steelers, and then I'll go to the Mountaineers. Do you think Sunday's game was more of a, unfortunately, what we might be, or do you feel it was more flukish, if that makes sense? Like,
I really don't know. I'm kind of thinking that maybe they're a little bit better than people are expecting them, and then us,
Right.
talking about the Browns,
mm-hmm.
and maybe we're not as good as what people are saying. That's not to say we're awful. I just don't know that we're I don't know, Super Bowl caliber, I guess. Maybe if
Right.
we had Bell back, which that's a whole nother story.
If he, so like if
but
he,
it-
yeah, sorry.
But going back to the Cleveland game, I think the weather had a lot to do with that. Not making excuses, but as far as what they are, I think Kansas City's off to a hot start, and Tampa Bay. Those are the next two.
Right.
I think we'll know a lot more in the next 2 weeks than we did after Sunday.
Right.
So
Would you like to hype up the Mountaineers real quick?
it's just depressing. There's not a game this weekend.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. But maybe
So-
maybe somehow it'll help us like physically or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say I would have rather seen them play, just for the simple fact that I think they're probably going to use it against us come bowl time, if it ever gets to that point where
Right.
they say, well, they played one less game. Greer played one less game. So if you're talking about the Heisman or the playoffs, that could go against us.
Mm-hmm.
Because the media, as it is, they don't like WVU really. So
I got you.
it's more reason just to, leave us out of the discussion, I guess. But winning cures all. If you just keep winning, there's
Right,
really
correct.
nothing anybody
Correct,
can
yeah.
say.
So obviously we have to make it that far. But like if we somehow make it through November, 3-1 in November or 4-0 at best case, obviously. If that if the game this weekend came back to like kind of unfortunately like
I think it'll do us more damage if we lose one.
right.
Because then if we're in that discussion on the edge of the playoff or a New Year's Six game, they're going to say, well, they had one less game than everybody else. If we're undefeated, they really can't, you really can't argue it,
Right.
I guess.
Correct, yeah. Plus,
So-
Texas could be not as good as, Texas didn't look
Right.
great week
I
one.
mean, there's no tougher stretch for anybody this year than what we'll have in November. So if we get through those 4-0, I don't think anybody could argue that.
Correct, I got you.
So
We'd probably we wouldn't want Alabama to not make the SEC championship, if that makes sense.
right,
Because
right.
that would screw it, because they're going to put 2 SEC teams in then, but
Yeah,
I got you.
and that's probably a lock with the Pac-12 being so bad. So you figure the Big Ten winner is going to get one,
Mhm.
maybe the ACC, and then you'll have definitely 2 SEC schools in the
right.
discussion, and then maybe a team from the Big 12, which could be us or maybe Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So
DJ, I'm going to ask you a question. If you don't know the answer, that's fine. How is the quarterback from Oklahoma getting paid $5 million but playing college football?
that's a good question. I whenever I saw that he was drafted by the A's, I was like, how can he sign a contract with them and still
Yeah, I
be an amateur athlete?
I don't understand. Like, you're not how.
There are guys that have been drafted before, Pat White and Russell Wilson, I guess, come to mind. But
I thought they did.
Those
I
guys-
thought once you sign Like once you make money.
Right, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm kind of confused with that as well.
Yeah, I got you.
So,
But I think we got a lot of good, information here. But I'll call you the same time next week.
sounds good, Ben. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for listening, and same time next week, go Steelers. Bye. Next week, go Steelers. Bye. Next week, go Steelers. Bye. Next week, go Steelers.